What did Jungkook actually say that made armies around the world suddenly fall silent? And why did even a Rolling Stone CEO admit that he never expected the impact to be this big? That question exploded like an echo in the quiet space of early 2026, precisely when the music world thought it had fully understood Jungkook of BTS. Yet it was exactly in a moment that seemed calm, without a major press conference or any official announcement from the agency, that a simple but piercing confession surfaced, slipping through an exclusive Rolling Stone Korea interview and then growing into an emotional, speculative global conversation filled with clues that provoked public curiosity. On January 3, 2026, an Instagram story upload from Rolling Ray, publisher and CEO of Rolling Stone Korea, triggered a wave of reactions that were difficult to predict. There were no bombastic words, no sensational claims, just a teaser of Jungkook's interview set to the background music 7 Feet Lato, clean version. Yet it was precisely this simplicity that felt suspicious to many fans. Why was that song chosen? Why was this interview clip shared now? And why did Jungkook's expression in the snippet look so calm, as if he had already made peace with something big, perhaps even too big to be spoken plainly? The full interview, later published on the official Rolling Stone Korea website, became both an answer and a source of new questions. Jungkook appeared as the cover star of the magazine's 16th issue with a title that sounded light at first glance yet was laden with meaning. I like the present.
데트 센턴스, 유치인 커리언 리즈즈, 저는 지금 현재가 좋아요. 이미디이트리 became material for endless interpretation.
Was this merely a philosophical statement from an artist who had passed through a pressure-filled adolescence, or a subtle signal of a major change he was preparing? Many armies felt the title was not a coincidence, but an early clue to something much bigger. In the interview, Jungkook described himself as a pragmatic, even realistic person, who chooses to live in the present moment rather than constantly looking back at the past or excessively worrying about the future. Yet that was precisely where the irony lay, the part that made readers fall silent. How could an artist who debuted at the age of 15, whose every step has been recorded by the global public, calmly say that he prefers the present? For some fans, the confession felt comforting. For others, it felt unsettling, as if Jungkook were closing a long chapter of his life, or at least preparing to rewrite the definition of who he is. When Jungkook spoke about his diet routine, the statement sounded personal yet deeply symbolic. He admitted that he eats only once a day, waiting patiently, holding back desire, and then feeling a sense of satisfaction, as if he has achieved something when he finally eats. That sentence quickly went beyond the context of health or personal habits. Many read it as a metaphor for his current life and career, about restraint, waiting for the right time, and celebrating achievement in its simplest form. Was this a depiction of his creative process, or a reflection of a major transitional phase he is going through with BTS? Another confession that left the public silent was Jungkook's reason for deactivating his personal Instagram account in 2023. Because I wasn't using it properly, he said briefly, almost without emotion. Yet the simplicity of that answer sparked long speculation. In an era where digital presence is considered vital, stepping back is often interpreted as a form of self-protection, even a withdrawal from public expectations. The fact that Jungkook quietly opened a new account in July 2025, which to this day remains empty without a single post, added another layer of mystery. The account seems like an empty space that speaks louder than thousands of photos. Meanwhile, the Instagram account of his beloved dog, Bam, has grown into a vibrant gallery of life with nearly 8 million followers. For some armies, this contrast feels like an indirect confession of where Jungkook chooses to channel his energy. Rolling Stone Korea did not merely present Jungkook as a visual icon, but also as a subject of deep reflection. He recalled his journey as BTS's maknae, debuting at such a young age, shaped by intense training, variety shows, and small stages that forged his efficiency and sense of teamwork. The nickname Golden Maknae, long attached to him, he neither denied nor glorified. He spoke about the process rather than the result, about long hours in quiet practice rooms, about mistakes corrected over and over again until they became professional habits. At this point, many readers sensed a more mature tone of confession, as if Jungkook were having a dialogue with his younger self. However, the biggest surprise came when he subtly revealed that he was in Los Angeles, quietly preparing a new BTS album. There were no technical details, no promised release dates, just a hanging statement. The form and sound of their comeback remain a question mark, and it is precisely this uncertainty that makes the confession feel so jarring. Jungkook said he wants to become an artist without limits, a phrase that instantly sparked heated discussion. Is this a hint at BTS's musical direction after military service? Or a signal of bolder solo exploration? These questions circulated rapidly, blending hope with unconfirmed rumors. Fan reactions on Platform X exploded almost instantly. Photos shot by photographer Jungkook Jr. for the Rolling Stone session with Calvin Klein were reposted thousands of times, accompanied by captions emphasizing the honor and pride of working with Jungkook. Likes and views soared. Hashtags like #Jungkook's Rolling Stone and #Jungkook trended, and praise poured in for his stunning appearance. Yet behind the visual euphoria, many armies admitted they were more shaken by Jungkook's words than by his images. There was a strange collective silence, as if everyone was digesting something they could not yet fully explain. Even for Rolling Ray, the figure behind Rolling Stone Korea, the impact of this interview was said to exceed expectations. Without sensational official statements, without aggressive marketing strategies, Jungkook's confession managed to touch the deepest emotional layers of fans. This is where rumors began to whisper. Was this interview merely a personal reflection, or the opening of a series of major announcements deliberately being held back? Why has there been no confirmation of a physical magazine release from HYB until now? And why does everything feel so carefully planned yet spontaneous at the same time? Why did Jungkook seem to disappear physically after the interview was published, yet become even more present emotionally? And what is it that made so many armies feel that this confession was not merely a personal story, but a carefully wrapped signal of major change? These questions surfaced in layers, as the public began rereading every sentence Jungkook spoke through a different lens. The Rolling Stone Korea interview was no longer treated as an ordinary article, but as an important document whose every detail deserved to be analyzed. Jungkook's tone in the interview felt different from before. There was no excessive euphoria, no ambition declared in a challenging voice. Instead, there was a calmness that almost felt cold. Many fans described it as a suspicious calm. In the world of K-pop, filled with planned statements and motivational slogans, Jungkook chose grounded words that sometimes even sounded ordinary. Yet that was precisely where the power lay. He was no longer speaking as a teenage idol trying to prove himself, but as a mature artist who understands limits, time, and consequences. When he said that he likes his life as it is now, some armies felt happy seeing Jungkook appear more at peace. Others, however, felt a vague sense of anxiety. In the context of BTS's journey under immense global pressure, that statement carried layered emotional interpretations. Does now mean a transitional phase? Is Jungkook hinting that he is no longer bound by old definitions of success? Or is he preparing emotional distance so the public will be ready to face a much bigger change? His confession about his diet routine was again discussed from a deeper perspective. Enduring hunger, waiting, then feeling satisfied when finally eating was seen by many fans as a reflection of how Jungkook is living his life right now. He is not rushing, not chasing instant validation. In an industry that demands non-stop productivity, this act of waiting feels like a subtle form of resistance. A statement without slogans, that he chooses his own rhythm, even as the world keeps pressing forward. Jungkook's decision to step away from his personal social media also returned to the spotlight. His new Instagram account, which remains empty, has become a symbol that continues to provoke curiosity. Every day, fans wait for a first post that never comes. That emptiness itself becomes a message. In a noisy world, Jungkook chooses silence. And that silence feels louder than thousands of posts from other celebrities. Meanwhile, Bam's active account seems to serve as an emotional outlet, a place where Jungkook channels his softer, more personal side without having to speak directly to the public. The interview also revealed Jungkook's reflective view of his past as BTS's maknae. He does not regret debuting early, but neither does he excessively glorify that time. He speaks about how small experiences shaped his efficiency and mental resilience. Many armies were moved by how Jungkook emphasized process over glory. as if he wanted to remind everyone that behind the title Golden Magne lies quiet hard work and sacrifices rarely captured by cameras. When the conversation shifted to Los Angeles, the atmosphere of the interview became more tense. Jungkook did not share details, yet it was precisely this lack of information that fueled public speculation. Why Los Angeles? Why now? And why prepare everything in silence? In BTS's history, silence has often preceded major announcements. ARMYs who have long followed this pattern could not ignore the clue. Jungkook's words about wanting to become an artist without limits felt like a door deliberately left half open. Reactions on Platform X grew even more intense. Fans were not only sharing photos and quotes, but also lengthy analyses of the meaning behind every sentence. Some connected it to the post-military phase. Others saw it as the beginning of a new BTS era, while some sensed the approach of a major solo project yet to be announced. Hashtags kept changing, discussions flowed endlessly, and Jungkook's silence only amplified the echo of his confession. Photographer Tae Cook Jr., who shared photos from the Rolling Stone session, also became part of this narrative. His posts tagging Jungkook, Calvin Klein, and various international editions of Rolling Stone seemed to affirm that this moment was not merely local but global. Many ARMYs felt there was large-scale coordination happening behind the scenes, even though no official statement confirmed it. This is what made the rumors grow wilder, and yet harder to dismiss. Most strikingly, there was not a single explicit statement that truly answered all questions. Jungkook did not say he was stopping, nor did he clearly announce something new. He only spoke about himself, about the present, about the process. Yet it was precisely this honesty that made the confession feel heavy. For many fans, this was not just an interview, but a moment of collective introspection, when they realized that Jungkook is no longer the teenager they once protected, but a mature artist choosing his own path. Then a question began to surface, one that is now heard more often, even if rarely spoken aloud. Was Jungkook's confession deliberately released as an initial signal, rather than a final answer? The more time passes since the Rolling Stone Korea interview was published, the more it feels that its impact grows rather than fades. It is as if Jungkook's words only truly come alive after he has finished speaking. Many ARMYs began to notice something both unsettling and captivating. Jungkook did not speak about achievements, targets, or records. He did not mention sales numbers, global charts, or ambitions, the kind of language usually used in the industry. He spoke about everyday life, about eating, waiting, choosing, being silent, and enjoying the present moment. In an entertainment world filled with noise, the choice of topics feels almost subversive, and that is precisely where its power lies. The CEO of Rolling Stone Korea reportedly did not expect this interview to trigger such deep emotional resonance. Not because of sensationalism, but because of bare honesty. Jungkook did not construct a new persona. Instead, he seemed to shed old layers. Many music observers see this as a sign of artistic maturity, a phase when an artist is no longer busy convincing the world, but is at peace with themselves. Yet for fans who have grown up with BTS for over a decade, this moment feels like a quiet farewell to the old version of Jungkook. Rumors have moved slowly but consistently. Some believe this interview is the opening toward a more personal and experimental era of BTS music. Others suspect that Jungkook is preparing a solo path that is far more intimate, more truthful, and possibly riskier. There is no concrete evidence, no official confirmation, only fragments of feeling pieced together by the public. Yet BTS's history teaches that silence is rarely accidental. Jungkook's presence in Los Angeles continues to be a topic of whispers. The city is not merely a hub of the music industry, but also a place where many artists rediscover their identity. The fact that he is preparing a BTS album quietly has prompted many questions. Why the secrecy? Why not frame it as a major project from the start? These questions remain unanswered, deliberately left hanging, creating a subtle yet constant tension. On the other hand, ARMYs are beginning to reflect on themselves as well. Many admit that this interview made them pause, reread Jungkook's journey from a 15-year-old boy to the mature artist who now chooses his words with extraordinary care. There is a sense of pride, but also a small, inexplicable sense of loss. It is as if they realize that loving an artist also means being ready to accept changes that are not always comfortable. So far, there has been no follow-up announcement from HYB, no new post from Jungkook's Instagram account, and no clarification to confirm or deny the rumors. And yet it is precisely this absence that makes the confession feel even heavier. Jungkook has spoken, and after that he chose silence. A silence that is not empty but full of meaning. Therefore, when the public asks why this confession left ARMY speechless, the answer may not lie in what Jungkook said, but in what he did not say. There is a space deliberately left open, a space for interpretation, hope, and fear. And as long as that space remains unclosed, one thing becomes increasingly clear. Early 2026 is not an ordinary point in Jungkook's journey. It feels like the beginning of something far larger, quieter, and perhaps more honest than he has ever shown before. As the weeks passed, the silence that followed Jungkook's words began to take on a life of its own. Fans described it as a hollow echo that lingered long after the interview ended, a space where anticipation and speculation intertwined. Each gesture, each word, each carefully measured pause in the Rolling Stone Korea interview was now scrutinized, revisited, and reinterpreted. It was no longer just an interview. It had become a living puzzle that demanded attention, thought, and feeling. The emotional resonance was amplified not by spectacle, but by restraint. Jungkook had, in essence, handed the baton to the public, letting them run with questions and interpretations he intentionally left open. The deeper layer that captured public fascination was the contrast between his physical absence and emotional presence. Jungkook seemed to step back from the public eye, yet his words reached further than ever. He did not announce tours, concerts, or collaborations, and yet the ripples of his statements touched millions. ARMYs described feeling a closer connection not through seeing him, but through understanding him, or perhaps trying to. It was as though Jungkook's silence had become a canvas, inviting fans to project hopes, fears, and interpretations upon it. Every empty Instagram post, every fleeting public sighting, seemed to reinforce the narrative that the present moment, the now, was what mattered most to him. Some fans began drawing parallels between Jungkook's approach and that of artists who have redefined themselves through quiet transformation. The Los Angeles setting fueled speculation further. This city, a hub of reinvention, suggested that BTS's next phase, or perhaps Jungkook's solo evolution, might not follow conventional paths. Rumors circulated of experimental sounds, conceptual projects, and deeply personal storytelling. While no concrete plans were confirmed, the combination of Jungkook's calm demeanor, reflective words, and intentional silence inspired a collective sense of curiosity that felt almost spiritual in its intensity.